Should you have a dedicated shoulder day? Should you do isolation exercises on your front delt and rear delt if you're already doing a bunch of pushing and pulling exercises? Do delts respond better to high reps, low load training? Should you train to failure on shoulder exercises? I will be covering all those topics in this video. Hi, my name is Xiao. I'm a Chinese personal trainer living in France, making content in English. This is day 1 of my journey to being half natty. I want to share my journey and educate people along the way, so you can have more muscle and less fat. So let's get to the video. Up until a few months ago, I was assumed that having a dedicated shoulder day was a waste of time, because my assumption was that deltoids are already being trained during your chest and back exercises. You just need to do 1 or 2 isolation exercises at the end of your chest or back workout and you are good to go. Obviously, I did that for many years and my shoulder didn't improve that much because after the pushing and pulling exercises, my shoulder were fatigued. So I didn't have the mental energy to focus on the isolation exercises. So they were always half-assed. So I thought, well, if I want to really grow my delts, I need to have a dedicated shoulder day. So that's one of the reasons why I started a shoulder day. Another assumption that I had is that you don't need to train your front delt and rear delt because they are already being trained by pushing and pulling exercises. This was something that I heard a lot from some evidence-based fitness guys. At that time, I was all into the scientific approach to training and nutrition, and I still am, but I'm much less dogmatic about it today. But I saw a video of Will Tennyson where he trained with Phil Heath, and he asked him exactly that question. Why should one train the front delt since it's already being trained by all the pushing exercises? And Phil Heath said, well, if that's the case, why would you train the biceps or the triceps? They're already being trained with the chest and back exercises, right? For me, that was a light bulb moment because it just made sense. I know to you it might seem totally logical and straightforward, but I've been told again and again by those science guys that you don't need to train your front delt or in rear delt for so long. Those people, I look up to them. So I didn't even give enough logical thoughts to it. Anyways, that's when I realized I probably need a dedicated shoulder day if I were to add a bunch of isolation exercises to my shoulders without having to train for 2 hours in the gym doing a push or pull workout. Another statement I heard a lot is that shoulders tend to respond better to high reps, low load training, which makes sense because you are already training your delts with pushing and pulling exercises, which are often on the heavier side, 5 to 10 reps. So if you were to train them again with isolation exercises, you should do 10 to 20 reps, even up to 30 reps, because you want to use different rep ranges to train all the muscle fibers. I still think that statement is true, but there are more factors you need to consider. Deltoids are one of those muscles that you need to take a muscle-mind connection approach or feel the contraction type of approach. So using a light weight is great because if you use a weight that's under 10 reps, your form might break down and you might cheat with other muscles like your traps. But you do need to push yourself close to failure on the last rep if you are doing a very lightweight. Because when you do high reps lightweight, you might feel the burn very well, but that burn is just an accumulation of lactic acid. It's not indicative of hypertrophy. To stimulate muscle growth, you need to push yourself to failure or very close to. So when doing high reps, it's very easy to mistake the burn for muscle failure, which are not the same thing. So use low load and high reps on deltoids, but push yourself to true failure. So a few months back, I completely changed my training routine. Instead of doing scientific or power building type of training, I went completely bro. From full body training to bro split, the kind of split that science-based coaches will love that. Not only that, I decreased my training volume drastically to about 6 sets per muscle per week. Again, most people will say that no way, that's too low volume, no way you can grow muscle. And I take each set to failure. Again, the all science me would say things like, no, you want to avoid failure so you can accumulate more training volume, because training volume is the most important factor for hypertrophy. I've been training like this for almost 6 months now, and I've grown a lot. So my takeaway is that don't just take someone else's word for it. Think logically and try it yourself before you make a conclusion. That's it for today. If you have any questions, comment down below and I will answer them as soon as possible. Bye bye.